Buddy, I'm going to give you a little breakdown on how to complete the Thrive Art Gallery interview project. So go into your library, launch your video that you're editing, and here's my edit. So pretty simple edit for me. I chose to organize my interviews and my B-roll and title it like this. I chose to work with the interview and the B-roll within the edit window here with in and out points. So there's one. This is a little extra footage I took of the performance. You see my in and out points, and I've used the insert or overwrite clip. The insert clip is the big one, F9, to put them in the timeline here. Show you. So what I did was I created a new audio track here. Okay, and this is the interview audio. So I'm going to title that now. And this right here is the B-roll audio. So obviously you don't want the B-roll audio in there. You want the interview audio. So I created a new track and I dragged the interview audio down to that new track. So then when I inserted clips into my timeline here, the B-roll audio would go down to this audio track, and I could just mute that whole track. And it made for a real clean edit. So I have all my B-roll in here over the voice interview.
I want to welcome you to our exhibit Thrive, Celebrating Our Identities. It's a collab.
And it made it really clean because I just have one video line with all of my clips and one main interview line. And that's it. The B-roll is muted. So rather than having a bunch of video tracks and trying to layer stuff in and create new audio tracks every time you drop something in, this editing method worked really good. Okay, so hopefully that helps you. Shift Z, I'm going to look at the whole timeline now. And what I want you to do when you're done with editing, when you've got your edit together, I need to put credits in here still and work with that. So here is the effects library. I'm going to close the media pool, keep the effects open. Titles. You can use a basic title, but right here in the intro, it's here, and she says it. So I'm not actually even going to put a title in there, but I'm going to put credits here at the end. So we'll do something like this. Let's look for, there's a scroll title. Seems like there'd be like a moving credits thing in here somewhere. But for now, let's just go with something simple, like a center reveal maybe. You drop that right into here. And then over here, you open the inspector and you go to effects. Double click this title right here. There we go. Video, title, and here's where the text can go. All right, so the title information, or the credits information, is in the canvas. And I'm navigating to it now. Let's see. In the meantime, make sure you get to the title area in effects. Find a title you like. You can preview it when you hover over it. Actually, I like that one. That's kind of cool. And get into the inspector. Double click the title so you can change the text here. Get that set up. go to week 11 module, art gallery location shoot review, and that has the credits. Although none of that is actually applicable now because we reshot all this. So here are the current credits. I'll put it in and you can copy what I have. There you go. There's the credits for you. And if we roll these, let's see. It's kind of quick, right? So let's go in, zoom in, and drag it out a little. That's probably long enough there. And there will be some music playing here. Boom. There's the ending. Okay, so that's going to be my out point. So I'm going to press O, close the inspector, hit the home key, press I for in, Shift Z. I can see my old timeline. Now I can see my in and out points here. Close the effects. Okay, so now we've got the title or the credits at the end. What we need to do is mix the interview audio, export this movie, and then make a soundtrack. So let's go into the Fairlight page. Here's my interview audio.
Hi, my name is Sarah Smallhouse. I teach art appreciation and art history.
So you can see it's pretty low. It's around -20. We recorded a real safe level. So the first thing I want to do is come in here, Shift Z, select all of these. I want to go into the inspector
and gallery productions
adjust the volume on all the clips.
Here at Butte College. I'm also the gallery coordinator. I got my
We can go a little higher.
bachelor's at UC Irvine in art history, and I was always interested in both teaching and art museums.
So there we go. We're getting a pretty good level now. So by selecting all these audio clips and going into the inspector, you can raise the volume of all of those clips at the same time by sliding the slider or just type in the number here. Okay, let's close the inspector. Let's go onto this track, and we're going to EQ this track a little bit. So we're going to double click this, make sure this is on, and we're going to listen in EQ. Oops. Where did I press?
So I get to do a little bit of both here in my role teaching my courses and then also running the gallery.
So it sounds a little thin. I'm going to give it a little bit of 250, 240-ish.
With my students. I want to welcome you to our exhibit Thrive, Celebrating Our Identities. It's a
Let's put the effect in. There we go.
collaboration with the Idea Office, Trey Robinson.
Cool. I'm going to turn this band on and cut some of the lows up to like 80.
Our Idea Officer came up with the idea to have a diversity art show here on campus.
If we add some highs up above 8K like this, will it help or make it too noisy?
To go along with our Decolonize events. And this is the product. So Thrive.
Now you can compare it by turning it off.
Is a group exhibition. We have like over 20 artists. We put out a call.
That's pretty nice. It makes it a little fuller, gives it a little air. I'm going to back this off a little so the S's aren't quite as intense. There is a little frequency that's bugging me, so I'm going to go over here, narrow the Q, boost the gain, and listen.
For artworks, and I worked with my students to develop the theme of the show. So Diversity Art Show was like this big umbrella concept. I wanted to do something that was appealing to my students, so I reached out to them for ideas on what further this show could be. And it was very important to my students that we receive work that demonstrates joy in the artist's identity. So that's what you...
So what I'm doing is I'm cutting a boost, narrow, sweep, find the frequency that's bothering me, which is 1.4K, and then I cut it, and then I can turn it on and off and listen to the difference.
You see here. It's very challenging and fun to create a show like this. Unlike...
And that just creates a little more clarity in the voice. So try those moves with the EQ. Now I'm going to add some dynamics. Double click this dynamics here, and let's see what we got.
When you have just one artist or even just two
Okay, turn on the compressor here.
artists, the work tends to all go together because it belongs to that one artist. When you do a big group exhibition like this, I think you get to do a little more fun.
I'm going to decrease the threshold to around 17.
Creative work as a curator, because you have to bring the show together.
Now I'm getting about 3 dB of reduction, which is good, and I can raise the output gain.
You have to bring all of these artists together. So it's a challenge to have every
It's a little too hot. I'm hitting the red here now, so I'm going to back this off.
Single piece shine in this show, but we worked really hard to do that in a variety of curatorial techniques.
Okay, now I'm going to look up here.
And we also really like to create an overall design for the show. I think sometimes that's things that are...
Okay, I'm barely going over the 0 here. I like that. I'm going to stay there. Okay. So I would call that a pretty good start to the mix. And I'm going to go ahead, just keep it simple, EQ and compression. Here it is without those things, if we turn those off.
Visitors don't always take into account. Perhaps they get to enjoy that, but they don't always understand all the energy that we've put into thinking about color, font, layout. And so you can see we chose this really bright yellow, but we only use little pops of color.
Here it makes it a lot clearer, more present, fuller, and overall a better tonality. What might be really good actually too, there is a lot of noise, so let's look for Fairlight Effects, and we're going to go with, say, let's go with noise reduction, and we're going to drop it on this track here. We're going to say auto speech.
But we wanted to energize the show and give it this positivity. It's just one of the little things that we do behind the scenes. So I want to tell you a little bit about our process and some of the pieces behind me. So there's a lot of different ways.
That really helped. So I just dragged the noise reduction right onto the track, and now it shows up in the effects area here. You can click it in the middle to open it, and you could actually
techniques
adjust stuff here. You could say manual and learn.
Curating a group show such as this so that it speaks well to the audience.
And once it learns,
which has varying levels of, art
I don't know about that.
experience and art knowledge. And so one of the things that we did on this,
I think auto is better. Cool. So now we've improved the voice audio. Now we're going to go to the deliver page. And I'm going to add V1 because you never know. I might come back and fix some stuff after I've worked with it for a minute. Now it has to go into the correct folder. And I think I'm just going to put it right in this main folder. There it is. This is a custom H.264 QuickTime file. That's what you want. H.264 QuickTime. Add to render queue. Shows up over here. Render all. So after it renders the video, I'm going to drop that into Logic Pro and make a soundtrack. And then I'm going to export that movie